Hello, hello. Happy Saturday to you. Happy Saturday to you. I wanted to share some, Coach J Rose here, by the way. I wanted to share some things that I have learned this week that I'm learning. Stuff is brand new to me, and I'm like, whew, I got to share because if you don't know, you don't know, right? If you don't know, you don't know. So I want to share these different types of trauma that I have learned about. Oh my goodness. What kind of trauma do I have? What kind of trauma do you have? Here's the I don't know what kind of news you want to call it. Here's the news. We all have trauma. We all have trauma. We all have experienced trauma. We may even cause some trauma, not knowing, right? Just unknowingly cause trauma. So here are the different types of trauma. So you have the acute trauma. That's a single traumatic incident that happens in your life. It's a result of one single incident. Then you have the chronic trauma. That's prolonged and ongoing pain. Growing up, you never felt safe going to your parents, sharing how you feel because they dismissed it, right? You have, and then a second example is repeated prolonged, such as domestic violence or abuse. That is the chronic trauma. Then you have the complex trauma. The complex trauma is a combination of acute trauma, chronic trauma, and several chronic traumas or acute traumas. Exposure to a variety of multiple traumatic events. It affects us all and can affect us differently. It affects us all and it can affect us differently. So there's no big trauma, no little trauma. It's just trauma, okay? Our bodies emotionally relate to trauma. So our bodies relate to trauma just physically and emotionally the same way. It cannot tell the difference, right? Part of healing is exposure to beyond what you know. Part of healing is exposure to beyond what you know. Let me run through those traumas again. You got the acute trauma. That's a single incident. You have the chronic trauma. That's prolonged, ongoing pain, right? That could be domestic violence or abuse, repeated, prolonged, okay? And then, for example, right, once you develop this trauma, right, it's certain things that whatever age that incident happened in, emotionally, that's where you are. And I'm going to give you some examples, and you'll be able to notice this now that I'm bringing it to your awareness. So let me just run this statement back again. Growing up, you never felt safe going to your parents sharing how you felt because they dismissed it, okay? Let me turn the page. So that's the acute trauma, the chronic trauma, and the complex trauma. Feeling unsafe, abandoned, emotionally unsafe for long periods of time is chronic trauma. Trauma freezes you emotionally. Whatever age the trauma occurred, the body is emotionally there. Okay? A lot of adults show this when they get mad. So there are things, good morning, there are things that people do when they get mad. I'm going to tell you what I learned from what I saw my mother do when she got mad. When she got mad, she did not talk to you. She slammed doors, she just did things, right? So I know that she has trauma as well, right? Because what you do, you notice this when people get mad. I ain't talking to you. I'm done with you. Or they just, it's the child comes up. That little girl, that little boy comes up. And they're like, oh, no. They ready to fight. They ready to, do all kind of stuff. And you don't even know why you're doing what you're doing. Trauma is in us all, right? For example, and these are things that, we do as parents. I'm guilty of it as well. And I heard it also. For example, your child come and say, I want a bike. This is the statement that I know this has been said in many households. People in hell want ice water. I want McDonald's. You got McDonald's money? We've been taught to shut down the ability to want anything. We've been taught what that is doing now. And it could be true, but it's the way you say things to children. we've been taught doing this shuts the child down. They shut down the ability to want anything. Now they don't believe that they can go to college. They don't believe that they can get the good job. They don't believe that they can follow their dreams. They don't believe that they can start a business. They don't believe that those things about themselves, because they were at a young age. They were taught to shut down. Like, nope, you can't have that. Nope, you don't need that. Nope, that you don't. Just shutting down. So now there are adults who cannot express what they want. They're too busy trying to please other people. I'm telling you, this stuff is real. I was like, oh my God. And I was talking to someone and they was like, you know what? That's true, because I remember a time, and they went back to childhood and something was said to them in childhood, and it just lives in your body. You have to get help. You have to get support, because if not, you're going to go through life thinking that you're not good enough. It's not supposed to happen to me. Imposter syndrome. I'm not supposed to have this. I'm not supposed to make no money. I'm not supposed to have no money. I'm not supposed to have the love of my life. I'm not supposed to get married because I ain't see that growing up. You carry it throughout your life. It affects you emotionally, and it has you emotionally stuck. Okay? The only way, and then this is another example the young man used. He said the only way for him to be good is to anticipate what other people wanted him to do in order to feel safe. This is his example now. He said the only way to be good is to anticipate what other people wanted him to do in order to feel safe. And then we have this right here. Chronic trauma is like waking up at 30 years old one day, realizing you have no clue of who you are, because life is a melody of other people's feelings and opinions. Come on now. That right there was like, ooh, gut punch. Chronic trauma is like waking up at 30 years old one day, realizing you have no clue of who you are, because it's been a melody of what other people's feelings and opinions. Who are you? What do you want? What's your purpose? What's your dreams? I always cut my hair. I love cutting my hair all off. I just love it. I had damaged it, cut it all off. It's like, whatever, it's just hair. Love it. So what else we have? The things you can't speak about. The things you can't speak about is very difficult to address. The things that you can't speak about, it's very difficult to address, because it's like you don't know. Like, and there's another thing I was listening to, and it's like a lot of times, people ask you, like, you feel something, you're like, well, I don't know what it is. It's just something. I don't know what it is. Don't know what it is. You don't know how to express it. And then when somebody else says, yeah, that's what it is. I'm telling you, this stuff affects us emotionally. And yes, we're adults, but in our emotionally, we're like 7, 8 years old, and piss somebody off, and you'll see the age come out. You'll see it. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I'm done with you. Act like little kids. Don't talk to me. I'm not talking to you anymore. You're not my friend. When you make somebody mad, and see what happens. I'm not talking to you. Love take away. I don't love you anymore. I don't like you anymore. Kid, it's the little boy, the little girl. It's coming out. It's coming out. I'm telling you. And you'll notice it. You really notice it when you're mad or you make somebody else mad. Just listen. Just watch what they do. Watch their actions. And you'll see some trauma there. We all got it. We all got it. You got to get the support you need. Your trauma changes the way you see yourself, others, and God. Your trauma changes the way you see yourself, others, and God. So here's some questions. What kind of trauma do you have? What kind of trauma do I have? How does it affect the way I see myself, others, and God? The effects of trauma, the effects after trauma, fear, anxiety, guilt, depression are all common. Getting timely help and support may prevent the normal stress reaction from getting worse and developing into PTSD. And that's post-traumatic stress syndrome. I know that was a lot. I know it was a lot, because when I heard it, it was a lot. I was like, ooh, child. So we all have trauma. We do. And we don't even realize that we have it. We don't. I was like, I definitely got the complex trauma. I definitely have that. It's a combination of acute trauma, chronic trauma, and several chronic traumas and acute traumas. Exposure to a variety of multiple traumatic events. It affects us all, and it can affect us all differently, right? So let me run it back again. The acute trauma, that's a single incident, right? The chronic trauma is prolonged, ongoing pain, repeated. So that could be domestic violence or abuse, right? Growing up, you never felt safe going to your parents, sharing how you feel because they dismiss it. They dismissed it, right? In those examples, I want a bike. People in hell want ice water. I want McDonald's. You got McDonald's money. I want to be a doctor. We ain't got no money to send you to school. You can't be no doctor. I'm trying to tell you, you start planting those seeds. And now they're 30 and 40 years old, thinking that they can't do this and they can't do that because those seeds have been planted. And I know that you did not do this intentionally. We would keep repeating things that we saw, that we heard from our parents. Now, this is one statement. I don't know if y'all parents said it. This is one statement my mother said all the time. About you in this world, I'll take you out. I was like, why would you say that? Like, that's not nice. A lot of this stuff, we don't even realize what we're doing, right? The first step is awareness. There are different types of trauma, and we all have experienced trauma. We all have it. We experienced trauma when the pandemic. That's the prime example. Everything changed, right? There's certain places you still got to wear a mask. There's certain things you still can't do. You know, it's so much stuff has happened, and I don't even know if we even think about it this way, right? Did you know these different types? Do you know about these different types of trauma? Acute, chronic, and complex trauma. Part of healing is exposure to beyond what you know. Part of healing is exposure to beyond what you know, because you only know what you know. You only know what you know, right? You must get the support and the help you need, because it's going to develop into other stuff. What happens is keeps prolonged for a long, long time, and you don't even know. Here's the thing, we didn't know, right? And then we have all these issues, and we're like, I don't know where this stuff came from. Well, my mama had it or my dad had it, so I guess I'm supposed to have it. It's just, and then we just accept it. We just accept it. This is the way it is. And it don't have to stay that way. It does not have to stay that way. Because guess what? Part of healing is exposure to beyond what you know. So now you know this. Seek the support and help that you need to unlearn this. Unlearn it. Like a lot of stuff is just people just tell us stuff and this is what it is. Right? We got the acute trauma, we got the chronic trauma, and we got the complex trauma. Has anybody ever heard about these different types of trauma? Because I know I didn't. When I heard, I was like, I got to share this because we don't know what we don't know, right? The first step is awareness. We all have trauma. We got trauma, whether we know it or not. The acute trauma, let me run it back because people coming on and I want to share this. This is good stuff. And it's teaching, right? So acute trauma is a single incident. That's acute trauma, one single incident. Then you have the chronic trauma. That's prolonged, ongoing trauma, right? That's domestic violence, abuse, right? Then you have the complex trauma. That's a combination of acute, chronic, and several acute traumas. Exposure to a variety of multiple traumatic events. It affects us all and can affect us differently. Part of the healing is exposure to beyond what you know. Growing up, you never felt safe going to your parents because they dismissed you, right? I want a bike. People in hell want ice water. I want McDonald's. You got McDonald's money. It's certain, and we just say this stuff because we hear our parents say it, right? You're crying. You can't cry no blood. You know, just certain things we say, and because we heard it. We've been parented this way. We parent this way because we don't know. We don't know. Feeling unsafe, abandoned, emotionally unsafe for a long period of time is chronic trauma. Trauma freezes you emotionally. Whatever age the trauma occurred, the body is emotionally still there. It's still there. A lot of adults show this when they get mad. What do you do when you get mad? What do you do when you get mad? I have a tendency to just shut down. I'm not talking. I don't want to talk to you right now. I don't want to even be around you right now. What do you do when you get mad? That's my little girl, right? That's my little girl coming up. Something happened at that age, right? Emotionally. People get mad. You will see where they are emotionally, what age they are emotionally. Just sit back and watch. Just sit back and watch. That's it. Don't judge it. Just watch. We've been taught to shut down the ability to want anything. When you say those things to your children, you're shutting down the ability to want anything. And now they're adults, and they don't think nothing is possible for them. It's everybody else. Well, I'm not supposed to have anything. I'm not supposed to dream. I'm not supposed to want anything. I don't know who I am. Okay, so acute trauma, chronic trauma, and then we have the complex trauma. That's the complex trauma, and it's a combination of all those traumas, and over a long period of time, and it affects us all differently. What else? Chronic trauma. So let me give you an example of the chronic trauma. Chronic trauma is like waking up at 30 years old one day, realizing you have no clue of who you are because your life has been a melody of other people's feelings and opinions. Don't know who you are because you have been taught to please everybody else. What do you need? What do you want? You gotta be everything for everybody else, and you're nothing to yourself because you don't know who you are. When I didn't know who I was, whatever somebody wanted me to do, I did it. I just kept doing whatever. I don't even know why I did the stuff I did. Like, why am I doing? I just think that, why am I doing this? Because somebody wanted me to do it, and I want to make them happy. I want to please them because I didn't know who I was. Once I learned who I was, it was, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. I don't want to drink that. I don't want to talk about that. Like, I don't want to do that. Once you know who you are now, because when you don't know who you are, you'll let people tell you who you are, and you'll believe it. Oh, I should do this. They said I should do that. I'm going to do it. Why are you doing that? I don't know, because they told me to. And you know what your parents say. If somebody jump off a bridge, would you jump? You know, we just do stuff. We don't even know why we're doing it. But I'm telling you, the first step is awareness. The things you can't speak about are difficult to address. The things that you can't speak about is very difficult to address. This right here, how can you talk about this when you don't even know what it is? How can you talk about it? How can you get the help when you don't know? I hope that everybody gets counseling and therapy or coaching or something. Get the help you need, because we are meant to thrive, not just survive and suffer and struggle. I was not created to struggle and suffer and work for somebody else for the rest of my life. I was not created to work for the rest of my life, retire and die. That is not my portion. We are meant for so much more, but we have got to take the layers of this trauma and these lies that we have been taught and we have believed them. It's so much we got to do, and it all starts with us. I'm sharing this because I care. I'm sharing this because I know that winning is possible for us all. But we got to get out of our own way. First, we got to know what's blocking me. What is this barrier that's been blocking me? Right? What is that? Look, some people haven't never heard about these different traumas. Have you? I didn't. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. It was so like freeing to learn this stuff and know that there is help out here for you. But the first step, you got to be aware of these different types of chronic trauma, period. And we all have experienced it. We're experiencing it right now, and we don't even know it. Have you ever been in an abusive relationship? Right? That's chronic trauma. Complex trauma is a combination of it all. And we all, honestly, we all got the complex trauma because we have been through so much stuff in our lives. We have been through so much stuff. We have this stuff. We do, whether we know it or not. What do you do when you get angry? What do you do when you get mad? What happens? What do? Do you stop talking to the person? We don't know how to be in healthy relationships because we never saw it growing up. So we think it's not possible for us because we didn't see that. What does a loving relationship look like? I don't know. Do you know? You got to get the help you need. We're not here to struggle and suffer. Like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to thrive. I want to win. But how you going to win when Lauryn Hill, how you going to win when you ain't right within? You got to work on you. And I'm telling you, once you start doing your work, you will start knowing your worth. You'll stop accepting less. You'll just get out of those dead end relationships and friendships. Because a lot of us, we don't know relational intelligence. There's some people I can't tell people about what I'm doing because you got the wrong people in your life, baby. Because people got to be able to, my people can handle my wins and my losses. I don't got to keep certain things from them because they're going to be jealous and they're going to be hating. That ain't your person. That ain't your friend. That ain't your people, period. But see, you don't know. When you don't know, you don't know. There's so much information out here, but you just got to be aware of it. You got to be aware of it, first of all. So look at your life. And if your life is not where you want it to be, what are you willing to do differently? You willing to sit there and struggle and suffer when you don't have to? That's not your portion. That ain't my portion either. The stuff is out here. The stuff is available. I got all of this information from a podcast, from a therapist. Okay? This came from a podcast. These are my personal notes from the podcast. The information is available. It's free. Okay? It's free. It's free. If you can't get to a therapist, find a therapist podcast, right? The Healing Podcast. Find the Healing Podcast. And I'm telling you, it will help you. It will teach you stuff. And write notes. Write it out. This is how I learned. I don't just sit here and talk to y'all. When I tell you, I got notebooks and notebooks of stuff. I can, whatever area that you need support, you need help in, I promise you I got information on it. And if I don't, I promise you I know somebody that got information on it. Okay? It's all about awareness. Where are you? On that GPS, in order to get to where you're going, you got to know where you are. I can't say, well, I'm trying to get to so-and-so. Okay, so where are you? What's your location? Right? You got to know your location. Where's your location? Where are you? I'm telling you, if you don't deal with this stuff, you'll wake up 30 years old realizing you have no clue of who you are because your life is a melody of other people's feelings and opinions. When are you going to start living life for you? You have lived life for everybody else. You pleased everybody else. What about you? And you can have kids and be an entrepreneur and be successful. You can be this. You can be this and that. You don't have to be this or that. You can be this and that. But the choice is up to you. This information is out here. It's available. But we have to look for it. So whatever area you need help, you need support in, you seek that. You seek that information. You seek that knowledge. That's what I do. This is my vision board journal. So every day I make sure I am working on those 4 areas that I want to grow in. I'm intentional. I don't just wake up and see what the day brings me. No, I set my intentions for the day. You got to be intentional about your growth. You must be intentional about your growth. If not, you're going to remain stuck, stagnant, lost. Okay? That's not your portion. That's not my portion. That's not your portion, okay? I'm telling you, I got notes and notes and notes. Spiritual awareness. I wanted to share it. You can't fix the feelings. You have to confront the lies. So let's go back and confront the lies, right? The things that we were taught, they were taught by people who were taught by other people who did not know, right? It's time to break those generational curses. It's time to change your life. It's time to do it differently. And you can do it. I'm telling you, I did it. I am not the person I was a couple years ago. I'm not the person I was 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 1 month ago. I'm constantly learning. I am constantly growing. I am constantly investing in myself. That's where it starts, right? I can show you a list of videos I watch on YouTube. I can give you a list of books I listen to. I'm not just talking to be talking. I am telling you what I've learned and what I know. Your life will change when you intentionally make an effort to do something for you. Figure out what that is. Figure out what it is. Because here's the thing. What I realized, I was created on purpose with a purpose, right? Before he formed me in the womb, he knew me. My parents were just a transportation unit, right? And that biggest pain, the thing that you made it through, guess what? That's your purpose, to go back and help somebody else. And this is what I'm here doing. And this is what I will continue to do. I'm helping the younger version. The most person you're equipped to help is the younger version of you. The most person you are equipped to help is the younger version of you. I'm not assigned to everybody. I know that. But certain people, they hear me. They hear me. And I know they do. And you're assigned to people. You're assigned to somebody too, right? You're assigned to somebody. A certain set of people. You're assigned to them. Find your community. Community is so important. My community rocks. I got lawyers. I have realtors. I have coaches. I have therapists. I have insurance agents. You need some life insurance? Look at here. I got it. My circle is a thriving circle, not a pulling down, beat me down circle. My circle is a lift me up circle. You make sure that those people around you are clapping for you, cheering for you, supporting you and motivating you, not just beating you down. You telling them something, they talking about how you going to do that. That ain't your people. You got to go. I can't have people like that around me. Let's figure out how we going to do this. What's the plan? What you need me to do? What you need? That's the type of people you need in your life. Not know, how you going to do that? Ain't nobody can't do that. You ain't the person I need to be talking to. Bye-bye. Okay, it's important. The people that are around you is so important. We lift each other up. We support each other. And supporting does not mean I got to give them money and I got to buy their course and I got to buy their product. No, this is me. You know what? I'm going to share 6 posts. I'm a name drop. That's support too. Hello? Right? I'm not jealous and envious of nobody. I want us all to win. And if my sister winning, I'm clapping for her. And then when I'm winning, she clapping for me. If she need me, I'm here. If I need her, she there. Period. That's how it's supposed to be. Is your circle a cage or what? So I don't know. I just wanted to drop this on y'all because it was everything to me. It was everything to me. And I was like, I have got to share this because people don't know. I'm sitting there taking notes. Y'all, I have just notes and notes and notes. And I even got what I want to talk about next week. Oh, how do I know if I push people away? That's what I want to talk about next week. And that's a yummy one because, I can tell you about me. I can't tell you about anybody else, but I can tell you about me. And I know that I am not the only one. I know that. Like I know that. And so let me stop my podcast.